Hello everyone, Daria here, and welcome to episode number 55 of the Slow Russian Language Podcast. Today we're going to talk about Game of Thrones in Russia, and as usual there will be a short text in slow Russian, and after that we'll translate it sentence by sentence and try to find some interesting vocabulary. But a couple of words before we start. If you subscribed to my free email course and nothing happened, you didn't receive anything immediately, please go to your spam box, because I received dozens of emails from people who subscribed and didn't receive anything. So check your spam box. And please stay till the end of this episode, because I'll explain why it happens and what to do. But now let's not annoy other people who didn't subscribe to my email course, and let's begin speaking about Game of Thrones, finally. So here comes the text. Сериал Игра престолов невероятно популярен в России. Миллионы фанатов во всей стране. С нетерпением ждут просмотра новых серий. Премьера 7-го сезона прошла на станции метро Маяковская в 2 часа ночи. Это было большое событие для жителей Москвы. Там были и белые ходоки, и знаменитый железный трон, и драконы. Остальные серии фанаты смогут посмотреть на большом экране в кинотеатрах или в интернете. And that was it. This text was rather short because I thought that it's too difficult to listen to such long episodes. So let's take shorter texts and speak more about vocabulary. Okay, here we go. Back to the first sentence. In English, it is, the Game of Thrones series is incredibly popular in Russia. Сериал Игра престолов невероятно популярен в России. First, the noun сериал. I guess you understand that it means series. It means several episodes. Сериал. For example, российский сериал. Russian series. By the way, they say that they plan to make something like Game of Thrones in Russia. Some epic series dedicated to Romanov dynasty. But I doubt that. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay, the next word. Престол. Actually, it's the name of the series. Игра престолов. And here you might be confused because we hear the word thrones, and in Russian it's actually the same, трон. But also we have the word престол, and the word трон is more like an object, that chair where the potentate sits. And престол is more like power in general. And here, I guess, when they decided how to translate the name of it, they thought that it would sound more epic if they say «Игра престолов» instead of «Игра тронов». «Игра тронов» sounds kind of robotic. I don't know, sounds weird. So it's «Игра престолов». Then we have an adverb «невероятно», and it means incredibly. Unbelievably. Невероятно. Невероятно. And very often this adverb demands the short form of an adjective after that. Just like here. Невероятно популярен. Incredibly popular. Of course, you can say невероятно популярный. But like here, популярен just sounds more natural. Okay, the next sentence. Millions of fans throughout the country look forward to seeing the new episodes. Миллионы фанатов во всей стране с нетерпением ждут просмотра новых серий. Here an interesting phrase is ждать с нетерпением. Usually we translate it as to look forward to something, to wait for something, to anticipate something great. Ждать с нетерпением. Literally, it means to wait with impatience. So we have patience, терпение, and impatience, нетерпение. So altogether, ждать с нетерпением. For example, I can't wait for September because my son will finally go to kindergarten. Я с нетерпением жду сентябрь. Or maybe someone wants the new year to come faster. Я с нетерпением жду Новый год. And here millions of fans wait for next episodes. Фанаты с нетерпением ждут новых серий. And pay attention that in Russian the words сериал and серия might seem pretty confusing because in English we usually say episode, episode 1, episode 2, and in Russian we usually use the word серия. Первая серия, вторая серия. Or maybe there are many episodes in this series. В этом сериале много серий. Okay, the next sentence. The season 7 premiere took place on the Mаяковskaya subway station at 2 a.m. Премьера 7-го сезона прошла на станции метро Маяковская в 2 часа ночи. I know that it sounds absolutely absurd, but yes, literally inside the subway underground 2 a.m. and there was the premiere, the first episode of Game of Thrones, and it happened yesterday. And it's kind of a special event organized by Moscow authorities. They do it every year. There was a ballet night in subway already, some museums night. So it's kind of our thing. They thought it would be kind of fun to organize it in such a weird place. So what about vocabulary here? Of course, the word Премьера. And actually, I don't see anything special here. The name of the station is Маяковская, and it was named after our very, very famous poet, Vladimir Mayakovsky. In Petersburg, they have Mayakovskaya station too. Very beautiful one. Okay, let's move on. It was a big event for Moscow citizens. Это было большое событие для жителей Москвы. So, event is событие, big event. Большое событие, meaning something important, something that everyone was waiting for. Большое событие. Or usually we say важное событие, important event. Then we have the word жители, and жители means citizens. In singular, it's житель. Житель Москвы. So it's someone who lives in Moscow. Or maybe in Russia, житель России. Okay, the next sentence. There were white walkers, dragons, and the famous Iron Throne. Там были и белые ходоки, и драконы, и знаменитый железный трон. I've added this sentence just for fun, so you could hear how all those words sound in Russian, especially white walkers. Because many people ask me, do we watch Russian version of Game of Thrones here? And yes, of course we do. It's, how do you say it, overdubbed? So there are Russian voices. But I can't say anything about it because I always watch it in English because I enjoy all those different accents and emotions, because unfortunately after a translation and when other people do that, it's just not the same. So yes, it's in Russian. And by the way, another big question everyone asks, do we have Jon Снег here in Russia instead of Jon Snow? But no. In Russian, Jon Snow is the same. Jon Snow. Jon Snow. So of course he's not Snow. Снег. Okay, what's in this sentence? First, pay attention to grammar here. If you heard, I said и 3 times. И белые ходоки, и знаменитый трон, и драконы. In English, it's something like when you say both this and that. И это, и то. So in Russian, to do that, you put «и» in front of every object. Okay, white walkers would be белые ходоки. And ходоки, of course, comes from the verb ходить, just like in English, to walk, and walkers. Ходить, ходок. Белые ходоки. Then we have Iron Throne, железный трон. So in Russian, железо is iron, железо. So adjective, железный. And dragons, of course, драконы. Here I meant that there were all kinds of cosplayers there, like some weird type of Daenerys. And Tyrion was there too. I don't know, you can Google the pictures. Try to search for Moscow premiere of Game of Thrones. And the last sentence. The rest of the episodes fans will be able to watch on big screen in movies or on the internet. Остальные серии фанаты смогут посмотреть на большом экране в кинотеатрах или в интернете. So the adjective остальные means the rest of some amount of something. For example, a group of people, like 10 people, you say, you go on the left, the rest of you go on the right. Ты иди налево, остальные направо. Or like here, one episode there, and the rest of them in the movies. Остальные серии в кинотеатре. And yes, here in many Russian cities, they show Game of Thrones on the big screen. На большом экране. And I guess it would be so awesome to see it on big screen. But unfortunately, I can't stand the Russian version of it, so I'll prefer to watch it from home. And at home, you can do it on the internet. В интернете. And that was it for the translation. Now listen to this text one more time. And this time I'll read it a little bit faster. Let's get started. Сериал «Игра престолов» невероятно популярен в России. Миллионы фанатов во всей стране с нетерпением ждут просмотра новых серий. Премьера 7-го сезона прошла на станции метро Маяковская в 2 часа ночи. Это было большое событие для жителей Москвы. Там были и белые ходоки, и знаменитый железный трон, и драконы. Остальные серии фанаты смогут посмотреть на большом экране в кинотеатрах или в интернете. And that was it. I hope you enjoyed. And if you have any questions about Game of Thrones in Russia or about the Russian language or about anything, you can send them to Daria@realrussianclub.com. Again, Daria, it's my name, Daria @realrussianclub.com. And now about that subscription again. I have a free email course where I give some books and audio lessons, video lessons, some resources, my suggestions, tips, all that stuff. And you can join at realrussianclub.com/subscribe. But what happens? Unfortunately, after I moved to a Weber, I noticed that like 1/3 of all the subscribers never confirm their subscription. For example, this weekend about 100 of people joined and like 35 or 36 of them were still on the stage of confirmation pending. It means that they received the letter, but they never confirmed it. And it's so not fair because there are real names and real emails, I can see that, but unfortunately I guess those people just didn't see the letter. That's why I'm saying to check your spam box. That letter might be there. Because if you don't click that link, if you don't confirm that you subscribed, you will not receive a single email from me. And unfortunately, that very first confirmation email goes to spam because it is sent by email provider, and sometimes it happens. So please, if you didn't receive anything from me, go right now, check your spam box. And the rest of you, остальные, I hope you remember this word, остальные. If you want to join, again, realrussianclub.com/subscribe. What else for today? As usual, don't forget that you can use the show notes. If you tap on your screen, you will see the text. So if you don't understand something, what I'm saying, you can check in the text itself. You will see all those unknown words. And what else? There was something I wanted to say. Oh, yes. It was about Google Music, Google Play. I finally added my podcast to Google. I mean, like Google Music, that plays for Android users. So finally, my podcast is more available for Android users. And if you have any friends or just know anyone who wants to learn Russian and who has Android platform, please let them know about this podcast. Now it's on Google too. And finally, I guess that's it for today. And thank you very much for listening. I hope to see you in the next episode of the Slow Russian Language Podcast. Bye-bye.